Okay, are we ready? In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 at SEC, adequate notification of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the record. Dr. Kuzmana, roll call, please.
I'm sorry.
Roll call.
Mr. Derrick? Here. Mr. Bianchi? Here. Mr. Leo? Here. Mr. Pellegrino? Mr. Lozolo? Here. Mr. Marco? Here. Mr. Marquette?
Here.
Mr. Barber?
Here.
Mr. Nusiforo?
Here.
Here.
Okay, everybody stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to go into closed session? Alan?
Mr. Bonto, seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's do it.
Things to do. No, Jack asked if I just got it. I said, yeah, I just got it.
Dr. Kuzmana, roll call, please.
Mr. Leo? Here. Mr. Pellegrino? Mr. Lozolo? Here. Mr. Marco? Here. Mr. Marquette? Here. Mr. Barber?
Here.
Mr. Nusiforo?
Here. So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. Superintendent's report?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to give a report centering about the reopening of school. The Garfield District will reopen school on September 8th for all students, using a full virtual remote schedule for learning. Our primary concerns for not opening in-person instruction are the amount of air circulation in certain unair-conditioned classrooms with the warm weather, window repairs that are being completed at 2 of our elementary schools, the installation of all plexiglass shields on staff desks, the timely arrival of all PPE equipment, specifically the walk-through thermometer scanners that were ordered to accommodate the large number of students at the middle school and the high school. This morning, the county asked you to provide the list of reasons for each school not opening for in-person instruction in September, and for the length of time that we are requesting to remain in the fully remote schedule mode. At the current time, we are requesting to remain in the full remote schedule mode from September 8th through November 6th. I also want to advise the board and the public that we have not received official approval from the New Jersey Department of Ed for our request to change from the hybrid learning model to the full remote learning. However, we were advised to move forward with those plans until further notice. In the event that we are not approved, the district, in collaboration with the Restart and Reopening Committee, has prepared the hybrid model, which is on our website in summary. The hybrid plan includes both remote and in-person instruction and students attending school 2 days per week and learning remotely from home 3 days per week. This plan will be implemented if we did receive notice from the county and the Department of Education that we are not approved. In order to familiarize our parents, students, and families with the full remote learning schedule, the district administration will hold a town meeting on Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock p.m. At this virtual meeting, we will discuss the procedures and protocols for remote learning at the elementary, middle, high school, and pre-K levels. There will also be a question and answer period at the end of the meeting. I will send out a community call to parents to provide the details for logging into the meeting, but it will work similar to logging into a board meeting with the link posted on our website. Our administration has been working on remote learning handbooks to provide all of the necessary information regarding attendance procedures, logging into classes, proper etiquette for participation in remote classes, and other pertinent information necessary for remote learning. Additionally, every principal will be posting a short introductory video on the school website to welcome our students, staff, and families to this very new and unique school year. At the current time, principals are reaching out to parents of students in grades K to 3 to provide a pickup schedule for the computers that were ordered for every student in those grades. Parents should make every effort to pick up the devices prior to the start of the school year. This way, the child can begin learning immediately on September 8th. If any family does not have access to the internet, the school must be alerted immediately so provisions can be made. Internet connectivity is essential to the success of remote learning. As far as the changes that we are making to improve the quality of instruction and learning this year, teachers will be providing live lessons throughout the scheduled school day. Students are required to log into each individual class and participate virtually as if they were in the classroom. Attendance will be strictly maintained and students will receive grades. Our teachers and paras have been directed to come to the workplace to stream live lessons for 50% of the days that we remain in the full remote learning mode. They will be working from home the other 50% of the days. The rationale behind this decision is to have our staff in their classrooms to stream lessons and use the resources that are available to them to effectively present lessons. Additionally, one of our goals is to advance the use of technology and the Teams platform. Staff can receive the necessary support at the workplace needed to accomplish this. In a recent parent survey, our parents have suggested that live lessons are essential so that their children can engage with the teacher and other students in their class. We will move away from posting assignments and just checking in with students during the period. It was certainly my intent that the 50% requirement would allow us to slowly return to some sense of normalcy as we prepare for in-person instruction to begin in the fall. The staff has been made aware of the sanitization and cleaning procedures that are being implemented in the district, specifically including the use of the electrostatic sprayers and BioS and EPA-approved cleaning disinfectant solution that kills all viruses, including the norovirus, in 4 minutes upon delivery. Our staff begins their school year on Wednesday, September 2nd, with 3 days of professional development. They will report to the workplace on Wednesday, September 2nd. However, there will be virtual professional development on September 3rd and September 4th, and staff members will participate from home. I want to thank my administrative team who have worked tirelessly beside me throughout the summer months to prepare for both the hybrid as well as a fully remote opening. Please know we are anxious to welcome our students back and look forward to a very positive opening. Very unique, but also very special. Parents, please keep posted for more information regarding our town hall meeting on Wednesday, September 2nd. Thank you to the Board of Education members for your participation and support for my administration, and for our staff, students, and families. I hope everyone has a restful and relaxing weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Siakin. Okay, we need an approval of the July 30th special meeting, the minutes.
So moved.
Mr. Barber has made a motion to approve the July 30th special meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Barkat? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Committee reports. Security?
Okay, we had our security meeting on August 20th of this year in attendance with Mr. Capira, Mr. Zangara, Mr. Yakin, Dr. Mom, and myself. The agenda items discussed was, the first one was Alyssa's law, update slash Gemma is the company that we chose to 2 years ago of panic buttons communication. Panic buttons communicate, as well as, like panic buttons as well as upgrading the communication system is, installation is now begun at the high school, middle school, school 4, 7, and 5, and will be complete by August 31st. Department of Education notified us recently of a new date for the project to be completed. The new date now, I'm talking about the school, not just those schools I mentioned, is September 14th. The old date was August 12th. So, just with that. We also spoke about crisis management applications last draft. Our district is now doing away with crisis management application and using the newly acquired rapid system to provide alerts. Raptor is also being included, Raptor is also going to include screening questions for COVID-19. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Ronald, I think he's still clever is a platform or a program to bridge it into the Raptor system. Okay, and the time frame for the completion of this is Labor Day, after Dr. All right. We then discussed the card readers. This is the process the staff gains entry into the schools and the building. Our current system is over 30 years old and is outdated. The district is currently talking eight proposals to replace the current system. The newer system will be on the cloud. It would offer, our district looked into basically placing a Band-Aid on the old system, and it would cost us 20 grand, and that would have just been a Band-Aid. So we're looking into putting a new system in. We do have our first proposal. I was told at this meeting it was $80,000, and they were meeting on that same day with another company for a proposal. Dr. Kumano, did you ever meet with any second company?
I just got the phone earlier today.
Okay. So I guess you're going to decide that.
Well, I didn't get a chance to look at it. It was slightly more, but not that much.
Okay, and we discussed too, the extra money to pay for this upgrade is coming out of ESY and $40,000 out of New Jersey SIG, which is the insurance.
Correct. It was part of our safety grant project and leftover savings out of the ESY that we did not spend.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. The fourth topic, the reopening plan. Security, security will be needed while in full remote every day to help distribute the computers, the 1,500 computers that we just bought for K through 3, and also food. The hours will be discussed. We don't know the hours yet. Meals to students, food distribution will be grab and go. Food will be made at the high school and the middle school and will be handed out to your child at the school that they attend. So if you have a child, more than likely if you have several children, they're going to be going to the same school. But say if one is in grammar school, one's in middle school, 10, and Head Start will receive free lunch and breakfast. The fifth topic is security, renewal of the annual security guards. We will be keeping our current staff on the list. Mr. Kapir is collecting and updating credentials from security guards. Mr. Kapir also recently had a 2-hour webinar meeting with the state and was informed that during, even remote, we got to have fire drills by law while in remote learning. Next week, he said, which is, I'm sure that meeting happened already, he will be on another webinar to discuss exactly what type of drills we must perform. The sixth item that was discussed in security was a new position, school safety specialist, which will be given to Mr. Zangara. He has the certificates and then some that's needed, and the extra monies that we're going to use to pay Mr. Zangara is coming from Mr. Kapir, who's the head of it. He's working less hours, so Jimmy's going to take some more of the burden, so that's how that's being paid out. That is the conclusion of my security report. Okay.
Policy, please.
Mr. President, I will now do my policy. Policy meeting was on the same date, the 20th of August. In attendance was myself, Mr. Folgerino, Superintendent Siak, and Dr. Cosmano. All board members should have received in their packets that we have in front of you tonight copies of the policies and options that were selected by the committee when appropriate. I just want to say something as far as the teachers. I jotted something down here. I don't think Ms. Siaka said this, but if she did, then I'll be informed. I think, this is me, I think it's best for the teachers to report to the schools so lessons can be provided using the resources available in our classrooms. Teachers will also receive professional development to advance their use of technology and be able to use Teams platform more effectively during remote instruction. According to our governor, the objective is to resume in-person instruction. So getting the teachers back into the schools without students at first is the beginning of this process. So I'll now go on to my, my report as far as policy. And I had to just say that because I was lucky enough to be on the committee for the rollback, and it did change. I know there's a lot of frustration out there with parents, teachers, but we're doing the best that we can with the information that keeps coming to us from the governor, and I think the option that Mr. Yak chose is the right choice. The following policies were discussed. Okay, the first two policies that I'm going to read, there was a policy 0132, which is executive authority. These first two policies that I read only need to go through one reading. And the first policy was B, 1648, restart and recovery plan. New Jersey Department of Education published this, and how we're going to do this, the rollback. I'm sure people have seen that online, even in the paper. So that's that policy went over that. The next policy is B 1648-02, remote learning option for families. This places criteria for parents on how long you must wait to change from remote to in-person learning and from in-person to remote learning. If you opt to go totally remote, you have to wait a certain time before you do in-person and vice versa. So that policy covers that. The next policy was P 1649, Federal First Families Coronavirus Response Act. And that was must have doctors go COVID-19 leave, criteria on how you can stay at home, and the monetary pay for it. Also provides employees with paid sick leave for specific reasons related to COVID-19. And I'm not going to get into the names and the monetary value, but it'll be on there, and it's also will be published on the website, correct? Jacka? Okay. The next policy was P 2270, religion in our schools. Allows prayers during non-instructional time. That was, that policy we went over next. P 2431-3, P participation policy for student athletic safety. We basically instituted this, what, 2 years ago, Ms. Yanka, if I'm not, we had an incident with a young lady that played soccer, and since then, we've been adhering to this. This is now includes grades 6 to 12, which changed from 9 to 12, so we're going to do this with even the younger grades now. This must be reviewed by Dr. Cox, though. Okay, I'm sorry? She reviewed it since our meeting? Good. The next policy was P 2622, student assessment. The state assesses the assessment changing from grades 4 to grade 5 for science. This is across the state of New Jersey. So the next one was policy in PNR 5111. Eligibility of resident, non-resident students. We spoke about exchange students. Within this policy, it speaks about exchange students. It spoke about what we would allow or not allow a child in our district while the parents are moving into our district. Say if, while signing up, their school starts in September and a parent comes, listen, I'm building a house here or I'm renting, but I won't be here until October. We have certain options here if we will accept that student, and if we do, are they going to pay for the first month or whatever time until they get into the district? Not that's what that covers. Okay, we had a lot more policies to go over, but we weren't able to do it. So policies we must still go over at my next meeting, which is, I don't have the date, I think it's 17th of September. It's attendance, immunization, administration, and opiate antidote, suspension procedures, expulsions, and personal records. That's what we still got to go over. But that is the completion of both my committee reports, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Garfield. Finance? Chair of Finance, where is he? Oh.
The Finance Committee had met and,
Alan, I can't, just for your report.
thank you. So, the Finance Committee has met and, according to the business administrator, so the order has been.
That's it? Thank you. Okay, Buildings and Grounds?
Yes, Mr. President.
Sir.
Schools will be ready to open by opening day. Painting was done. There was an air conditioning problem in the manager's office. That was taken care of. And all grounds were maintained. So we're in good shape.
Well, with all the time that we did not have anybody in our school system, we had a lot of extra time to do the things needed to do to make our schools look better, and so, which is, unfortunately, we had to have this to happen. But, okay, is there any other committees that had meetings?
Personnel.
Personnel.
We have a personal meeting on the 20th, and at the direction of our superintendent and business administrator, everything on this agenda tonight has been authorized by the personnel committee for appointment, transfer, etc. And one of the things that we did discuss, the staffing when it comes to hybrid versus remote. And I have to say that our two administrators have done a tremendous job in getting ready for either one. We are ready, and we are prepared to go either way, depending upon the direction from the county and the state. And I think the staff have to recognize that this is a difficult time that we're in. Not everyone's going to be pleased with what happens when we're looking at the safety of the children, number one, the staff, and of course our parents, etc. So please bear with us, and we have to make changes. The superintendent has the authority to do that. Without our okay, we can ratify that as something we need. Again, I want to applaud both Shiaka and Dr. Guzmano.
Thank you, Mr. Barkat. I'm going to go to item number 6, old business, new business. Is there anything that anybody wants to talk about for old business or new business at this point? Okay, if not, we'll go to the resolutions. I'm sorry?
Can I ask a question to the superintendent?
Yeah,
Is the sports, are they still going to go on the full sports? Are they still going as planned, or are they on hold?
Mr. Derry, just had a meeting recently to discuss that, and there are pros and cons to both. So we are hoping to finalize that with the meeting on the restart and reopening committee and have a presentation there and then bring it back to the board.
Thank you. Mr. Derrick, can I answer your question? All right, resolutions. Personnel. 8.1 through 22.1.
Mr. President, I believe there was, we have one slight, adjustment. Yeah, on, 13. Yeah, 14 point,
No,
sorry.
sorry, 13, yeah. Which one was it?
Go to page 16. Page 16.
Yeah, it's at the on the bottom of page 16, 13.9.
Okay?
Help the,
Yeah, it's, the description there should read, light matron duties, not custodian.
Do we need a motion to change that?
You need a motion to amend,
Amend?
yeah, the description.
Alan? Too many people are talking, I can't hear.
Point 9.
13.9, right.
No, yeah. Correct.
Right.
Now we need a roll call vote.
Roll call.
Mr. Derrick, roll call.
Yeah. Mr. Derrick? Mr. Brianti? Mr. Leo? Mr. Properino? Mr. Mazzola? Mr. Garnto? Mr. Burkett? Mr. Barber? Mr. Nusafora?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, we'll go back to the original motion that you wanted to make.
8.1 to 21.
I'm sorry, 8.1.
8.1 through 22.1. Personnel. You need a motion to approve. Yes.
Two.
Okay. Well, that's the new agenda, correct? Okay.
Mr. Focarino made the motion, or Mr. Derrick?
Mr. Pocarino. Second.
Okay. Who was that second? Thank you. Oh, roll call? Mr. Derrick? Mr. Brianti? Mr. Leo? Mr. Focarino?
Abstaining on 15, on 29, on 30.
He's abstaining on what? Which one? All of them?
Who was that, Mr. Brianti?
No, Leo.
11.
11.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Mazzola?
Mr. Mazzola? Mr. Garnto? Mr. Burkett? Mr. Barber? Mr. Nusafora?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, education. Resolution 23.1 through 30.1.
I think it's 23.1 through 29. 29.1.
Is that the new agenda? Yeah, okay, well, unfortunately, I don't have the breakdown here. Okay, what would you say that was?
23.1 through 29.1.
Okay. Need a motion?
Mazzola? I got Mr. Garnto first and Mr. Mazzola second. Is that right? Oh, that seconded? No, he made the motion. Oh. So Mr. Focarino made the motion and Mr. Mazzola seconded, or Mr. Garnto seconded?
I have Mazzola, Focarino, Mazzola.
What, Mr. Garnto? Okay. Okay, all right,
Roll call.
okay.
Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Derrick? Mr. Brianti? Mr. Leo? Mr. Focarino? Mr. Mazzola? Mr. Garnto? Mr. Burkett? Mr. Barber? Mr. Nusafora?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Finance. I'm sorry. Oh, Finance. Resolution 31.1 through 32.18.
Mr. Focarino?
Yeah. Second? Mr.
Mr.
Paquette.
Barkett.
Roll call?
Mr. Derrick? I'm sorry? Thank you. Mr. Brianti? Mr. Leo? Mr. Focarino? Mr. Mazzola? Mr. Garnto? Mr. Barkett? Mr. Barber? Mr. Nusafora?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Buildings and Grounds, resolution number 34.1. Need a motion? Motion. Mr. Garnto, second? Second. Who is that? Alan, second. Roll call?
Mr. Derrick? Mr. Brianti? Mr. Leo? Mr. Focarino? Mr. Mazzola? Mr. Garnto? Mr. Barkett? Mr. Barber? Mr. Nusafora?
Aye.
Carries.
Policy, resolution 36.1 through 36.2. Motion? Motion. Second? Is there any discussion on policy? The only thing I want to say about policy is this is our Bible. I always say this, and this is what we live by. So I think it's very important that this board makes themselves familiar with the policies that the policy committee is bringing forth, because there will be a time that we will need to adhere to the policy. So we should know what it is that we're responsible for. Yes, sir. I can't. Somebody, I don't know who's speaking.
I'd like to clarify, I know I stated in my report, I don't think that further was the executive authority for the first policy that I read, for the first reading only, all of these need one reading.
Correct, but we're suspending the policy through, the policy 0132, which says you have to have 2 readings, and then that allows us to have 1 reading for those first 2 policies, 1648, 1648.2, one time, and then it'll be accepted, because that's needed for the road back plan.
Thank you. Okay, no other comments? Well, who's that, Alan?
We are actually facing no policy related to our president and pandemic status. We'll be able to revert some of these policies, just loosely on one meeting,
Well, that's the board's prerogative to suspend the policies at any time. But this is an emergency, and it needed to be done.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Derrick? Mr. Brianti? Mr. Leo? Mr. Focarino? Mr. Mazzola? Mr. Garnto? Mr. Barquette? Mr. Barber? Mr. Nusaforo?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, that takes care of the resolutions. Oh, athletics, I'm sorry. Athletics, 38.1, 38.3.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Garto, second by
Mr. Mazzola?
Mr. Mazzola. Any comment? Roll call?
Mr. Derrick? Mr. Brianti? Mr. Leo? Mr. Focarino? Mr. Mazzola? Mr. Garnto? Mr. Barquette? Mr. Barber? Mr. Nusaforo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Ms. Siaka. And I'd also like to echo what you just said about the Restore Recovery Committee. I know you have spent many, many hours trying to redo the committee, redo the recovery plan because the governor kept changing everything
things.
over and over and over again. And we spent much time trying to get it to where he wanted us to be, and then it turned out that he just said, almost, do what you want. And we tried to do the best we could for the safety of our teachers, and especially of our children and our administrators. So I want to thank you and the committee for their hard work, and let's hope that this works for the best for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nusaforo.
Okay,
We do have public comment.
public comment.
Yes.
Right now, there's a winner on. Not to we have to put. Are the board members aware that 250 staff members and the superintendent letter of concern with request
I'm not aware of that myself, but I'll ask the rest of the board if they're aware of 250 letters.
Nope.
Yes, Vice President.
I was aware of it, I've heard of it. I'd like to make a comment about this. First and foremost, I want to commend our superintendent and VA for doing the best that they can to get our district up to where it should be so that we can come back. But with that being said, as an educator myself, I share the concerns of all the educators and people that are going to be coming back into the building. I understand that starting to come in is eerie for all of us. I got to do it myself, and in my district, we're going back full time. But you have to understand that these districts individually, from what I know from being as a teacher and also as a board member, are it's individualized. So some districts, and I know teachers are saying, well, this district is doing this, and every district is different. Myself and Cliffside Park, we're going back full-time with students 5 days a week. I feel that, you know, what's happening here, the state and our governor did not give very good guidelines, but they are strongly suggesting to go back to a teacher in the classroom with students in the classroom as quick as possible. And I think what Ms. Siak and our BA are trying to do is pretty much hold that off as long as they can for the safety of our teachers and our students. And it's unfortunate that our governor didn't give us clear guidelines or make a clear decision. So it's not that any of us board members or administration don't hear the concerns, and it's not that we don't care. It's just we're being, our hearts are eager to the fire to make certain things happen. And I just want to say, don't think that this is something that we're not listening to. I think we all are speak for the whole board. But the problem is the directives coming from state and county officials are basically, you know, we should try and do our best to get things going where we have teachers and students in the building. I know that's unfortunate for most teachers and most students and with their, with how they feel scared, and I understand that. But we also gotta try and transition over to, you know, this, soon, by November 1st, all of us are gonna be back in the buildings, pretty much.
I would like to just let the board know that approximately 3 o'clock today, I sent the board an email with the letter of response to the Garfield Federation of Teachers, and I made you aware that at that point that the teachers were reluctant to come back and wanted the option to either work from home or to come in if they choose to. And I sent a copy of the letter that I addressed to them. However, you know, it was a little late in the day, and I also want to say candidly that I did not count the number of emails, so I didn't include 250 or whatever it was. I really knew I got a lot of them. It was the same letter over and over, so I'm sure it was crafted by the union. It was a very respectful letter. I'm not objecting to it at all. I understand their concerns as well. I'm not upset or angry at anything or anyone, but I really did not count the number of those emails that I received. But I did send you something in the later afternoon after I had the opportunity to craft the letter.
Go ahead, Frank, finish.
I just think if you're concerned as teachers, and I'm saying this as a teacher, you have to direct your action towards the county and the state, not your local board of education, because our hands are kind of tied with all this, and so are our administrators. We get guidance from them, and that's what, or not much guidance actually, but that's where you should turn your efforts to, calling your county officials, your state officials, because that's what we've all been doing. And I'm just saying that as you know, you're calling us, but we can only do so much. And I get it, we hear you, but we need a directive from our governor or from our county superintendents and things like that to say, hey, listen, this is what we have to do. And until that happens, it's very hard. I know myself, I'm going back on Tuesday full time. So, you know, I sympathize with that.
Yeah, I raised my hand and asked to speak prior to Ms. Siaka stating what she said in reference to the letter to the GFT. I just wanted to clarify that what you did, that you did send us a letter at approximately 3 o'clock, you know, stating the concern of the teachers, not with a number as you stated, but you did share that along with us.
Yes, I did. Personally, I mean, I did know that there was a lot of pushback, but when they said 250, I wasn't aware of the number, but, and I wasn't aware that the number was so large, but, you know, like Mr. Barber says, we hear you, but what you gotta do is you gotta bang the door down in Trenton, because we're not the ones making the decisions, we're being told what to do, so please do that. Write a letter, make a phone call, and Governor Murphy's going to have to listen if he gets enough of those.
And our administrators are doing the best that they can with the knowledge they have to keep us safe. I firmly believe that even in my own school district and here. I see what they do, and it's not like they don't hear it. I mean, they're concerned as well. We all are.
I want to make one more comment towards the response to that question. So I want the teachers to know that their health and safety is a huge priority to me and to the Board of Education. If upon coming back, there are things that you see that do not sit right with you or are of concern with you, because I know we have discussed all of these protocols with our facilities director, trying to shore them up to ensure that teachers will get a sense of comfort in their classroom, to know that it's clean, to see a checklist of everything that has been completed, and to know that the electrostatic sprayer was used to kill all germs. But if you still don't feel comfortable for any reason, and coming into the building, you notice something is not sitting right with you, please let us know. We will address it immediately. Furthermore, if you are asked to go to a meeting, even with 3 people in a room, and you don't want to, then you may participate on Teams. If you don't want to sit in a room with anybody else, you're in your own classroom which is clean and disinfected. There are no other students with you in the room. If you're uncomfortable with the heat, with anything else, please let the principal know. We do care, and I honestly respect the teachers union and the solidarity that came together with those emails and with the letters that were sent to me. And if for any reason upon return you are not comfortable, we need to know about it. With COVID, as you know, it's such a fluid situation. Things change by the minute. We were doing meals this way, then we find out we can do it that way. We are opening this way, then we find out we have an option. And I do want you to know, when the option was presented to go remote, we did, as a district, feel more comfortable starting that way, to get our teachers back slowly and to work with them with all the issues that we know you have going on at home. We know your kids are probably at home as well. Their districts may have gone remote. And I thought by doing the 50%, we get the opportunity to get you back in the buildings, to identify where you're comfortable and where you're not comfortable, and also still present lessons and spend time at home until such point that we're going to have to go in person. As I stated before, the county today asked me for reasons for every school, and they do look at us closely. We're a very highly state-funded district, and the Department of Education wants to make sure that we're using that funding to educate our students in the best way possible. So considering all these factors, this is what we thought would be the best way to start. In no way is it meant to punish teachers or to cause anxiety or fear or harm. So if that's the message that's there, I just want to personally say that's not where I stand at all. That's not where the administration or the board stands. And once again, we want to welcome you back slowly, make this transition as positive as possible, listen to your concerns and address them as they arise. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Siakam. Is there any other public comment? None? All right.
Ms. Mazzola.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, the middle school is kind of virtual math camp this summer. It's the first time ever. And, I think it's all I'm the vice principal of the middle school. And we've had as many as 467 kids each week doing virtual math camp. And each week is a different topic. And it's been a huge success this year. And I have to give the credit to two teachers, Ms. Tabori and Ms. Jen Pulaski, and the math supervisor, Ms. Juski, who has, been monitoring with myself all summer. And Monday starts our 8th week, and kids were emailed, and they've been doing it, and they can still do it. And it's something that's been really great and very positive. On the last comment about teachers not wanting to come back, I've had just the opposite. I've just talked to so many teachers in our school that they want to come back. They want to be in their classroom. They know it's remote. They're excited about getting back in their classrooms. We've had teachers back in their classrooms, setting up their classrooms, cleaning their classrooms. They're excited about coming back. And they're happy that it's going to be a structured day for the kids. And I feel that a lot of them feel that Ms. Siakam has been a tremendous leader during this time. Thank you.
Anybody else? Public comment? Yes.
Dana D'Amato. I'm actually a part-time para in the preschool and ECLC. I'm also a union rep there, and I think our union for the teachers, I'm speaking for everybody, I think we're just concerned about our children, going home to our children. Some live with their parents, elderly parents. So I think that was just a concern, not like you don't want to come in, you don't want to work, and teachers, all that. But that was just for the union. For preschool, my question or my concern is, there's a teacher and there's 2 aides in every room. And some gaps rooms, there's more aides. Like, what are we going to do in that sense? Do we have to wear masks all day? I know the teacher's going to be live. Are we going to go live with them? Do we all have to wear masks? Because if it's just a teacher, that's fine. They don't have to wear masks. It's their classroom. But if we go in, the 2 aides, do we have to wear masks with them? And they're babies. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to be live on video with masks. And these little babies are going to be looking at us like, who are these creepy people? You know? Like, I think that's a concern for the preschool.
Yes. Dana, I know a few of the paraprofessionals have reached out to me about their role. So when we discussed what happens during remote, the paras are essential and must be also part of everything that we do with virtual instruction. So paras will be coming in, and if you're 2 in a room or 3 in a room and the room is big enough where you have the social distance, you still must wear a mask. The only time a teacher could take a mask break is when they're alone in the room filming the lesson and no one else is there. So you would still be required to wear the mask. But we ordered the little pediatric masks. We're hoping that, the young ones are already seeing people with it and may have more of a comfort level. If for some reason, if a para or a teacher is saying, I don't want to be in the same room, you could log on virtually from another room or another location if you're really not comfortable. But we're hoping that the room is big enough to, one person's in the front, one's in the back, one's on the side. But again, everybody in that room must wear the mask at all times while in our schools. When we bring the students back in, the plan does allow for a mask break, but that's only for a few minutes when the students are able to social distance. The teacher may say everybody could take it off for 5 minutes, and then it goes back on. But you will be required to wear the mask. If you're not comfortable, if a para wants to be in their own space, they can, as long as they log in with the teacher to the virtual classroom.
We didn't get any messages, nothing, so we didn't know if we were on teacher schedule or our own schedule, so.
Yeah, the principals are just sending all that now because we just finalized it. We were waiting for approval. We didn't know if we were coming back hybrid or remote, and we didn't want to send anything and have to take it back. But then the county superintendent told me, although you don't have approval, begin to move forward with the full virtual. So we just got that word and we're starting, so you will get notified. The classroom schedule for pre-K will be probably 9 to 1. That's what it's going to be in the others. I didn't see the pre-Ks yet. I know they're working on it, but the handbook will come out with the schedule and all the protocols within it. You're welcome.
Any other public comment?
Many members are really asking for flexibility with the remote schedule. This will allow them to meet the needs of their family. Why can't the teachers choose to do school remote and home?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
so
having a
I
hard time.
think it
Yes.
speaks to the same theory that we've been talking about. We are trying to get our staff back into the buildings to resume some sense of normalcy before we bring our students back, hopefully in November. And we do feel that having students see the classroom as the teacher streams a lesson and they can say, oh, that's my classroom, that's where I'm going to go back to, that means a lot to students and families. We did have 70% of our parents willing to send their students back to in-person instruction. So that sends a message that our parents and students are anxious to see the school, see the classroom. We also think there are more resources available to actually stream better lessons or a higher quality of lessons if you're in your classroom. And again, it's a 50-50 mix, so they're still able to spend some time home and they will begin to resume instruction in our schools.
Members really wanted the choice of flexibility in regards to in-school instruction during remote learning. Why can this not even be considered? They want to teach.
Can I answer, only coming from a teacher's point of view in another
Of course.
district? So I understand their questioning, and I have the same question because I had a conflict with myself. And I'm going to be honest with you, directives from the state and the county are to use, unfortunately, and listen, none of us were happy about it, but you have to use what's available to you. And there's like the family leave and all these other things. If it's that much of a problem. For myself, it's like 6 days a month where I would have had to teach from home, unfortunately, I was told, well, then, your option is to use the family leave. That's what it's in place for, the COVID relief stuff that Governor Murphy
The child
sent
care,
down.
the COVID child care.
So it's not that, I don't think it's, there are options. It's just probably not the option that you'd like to hear, just like me. That's not the option I want to hear. We would all love to teach from home, but unfortunately, again, the state and the county are trying to push for us to get back into the swing of things, and we have to follow that. I may have to take that leave, and that's unfortunate. I may have to do that, but we all have to. We're all making sacrifices here, and I understand where they're coming from as a teacher myself. But there are options that you can look into. I don't think that's the superintendent's call, because there is directives from the state and the county with that as well. So, and I know coming from my own district, that was what I was told too. It's gotta be, that's what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Barber.
Any other?
Madam Flores, the majority of our schools are outdated, the heat is unbearable, and we do not have air conditioning. Why are the buildings unsafe for students but safe for staff? They should wear a mask in an air conditioning room. How are they expected to wear a mask all day in a hot room? Why are private teachers still being asked to report to multiple schools? Shouldn't they be limited to one building, homeschool, in order to reduce the risk of exposure?
Okay, so in response to Ms. Flores' questions, first and foremost, the reason that we didn't bring all the students in is to have less people in unair conditioned rooms. So we're hoping by November, the heat is no longer a factor when the students will be brought in. Additionally, if the teacher is alone in that room, they may remove the mask if they are the only person in the room. And if any teacher is in a room where it is unbearable, they should let the principal know immediately. If the temperature is so high in that room that they cannot function, just let the principal know, and we will address that type of situation. Our facilities director, Mr. Leo, has assured me that air quality in the schools is good. I think I'm more concerned about the heat factor with 15 people in a room, 13 children, and a teacher and an aide all wearing a mask. So that is one of the reasons that we have asked the county to delay in-person instruction. But once again, if that situation is making any teacher so uncomfortable, we will address it. As far as traveling teachers, I didn't get the full question, but I think Madeline knows me well enough. Send me an email, explain whatever it is that you're asking, and I will respond.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes. Mr. Guanta? Yeah.
I just want to make if a teacher is in classroom alone, he or she doesn't have to wear a mask to teach virtual.
Correct.
They don't have to.
No.
See, I thought at first you didn't have to, then I thought that she had to wear at all times. Or is that only when the students and teachers are here?
Yes. Well, our plan, and I want to clarify that because the question came up in our admin meeting, and Ms. Raymond responded that you do not have to if you're alone. So that's why I'm saying it is a good thing, but I will double check it and make sure and put it in our plan.
The fact that you don't need to have a mask, and like this young lady has said, the students are going to see them with masks on. Maybe we should, I don't know if we could, maybe have the aides and the parents, have them all in separate rooms, so that they don't need to wear masks.
If we have the classroom space, we can do that, we can make those arrangements. But again, yeah, and I think our principals will hear them very loud and clearly and work with everybody to make it as positive as possible. And I always tell the staff, go to your principal, work through it, but if there's something that's not resolved that requires my attention, I think they know they can reach out, call, or email me, and they will get a response.
Okay, if we have no more public input, oh, I'm sorry, I can't see you. I got the,
I know Mrs. Siaka, she said in the admin meetings that we've been having all summer, she just said this week that if a teacher needs a mask break, and that's what it's really called, we need to remove it. She has no problem with that. I think you also said you ordered masks that have been clear.
We did order clear.
That's what you said, like maybe a preschool student wants to see not this, rather see a clear, where they can see their mouth. Those all have been ordered as well. So I think everything, a lot of these things have been addressed by the staff.
thank you.
Very true. Thank you, Ms. Mazzola.
Okay, we're going to have comment from the board. Mr. Derrick? Mr. Derrick?
I'm just responding to an editorial that was in the record, and it was from Dennis Malicki, and it said, why aren't the Garfield Board of Education members mad as hell? And it's over the new pilot plan that takes away 50% of the school board's tax money. And to tell you the truth, I am mad as hell, so I mean, I can't speak for anybody else on this board but myself, but taking away money from our taxpayers and taking away money from our students is unacceptable. And I have a problem with that, and I just wanted that to be clear, and let Mr. Malicki know that I am as mad as he is, so, thank you.
Mr. Derrick, anyone else on the board who would like to make a comment? If I see all knows, how about on this side? Anybody want to make a comment?
Real quick, I would just like to congratulate all those who are retiring this year. I know a few, not going to name my name, but I just wish you nothing but good things that you do during good luck, stay healthy. And
Thank you. All right, if there's no other comments from the board?
Just want to wish the public and students a happy Labor Day weekend, and stay safe, and we'll see you on stuff.
Motion to adjourn? Second by Mr. Mazzola. All in favor?
Mr. Fogarino, who made the second?
Mazzola. Okay.
You know, it was first.
Yeah.